All right, it's Power Hour time on a Tuesday night. I'm Steve, along with the urban sensation C Red. Hello, Mr. Red.
What up?
And we've got the lovely and talented Lux tonight, aka Cactus Rack. Uh, so many
You're okay
AKs,
with
I
that.
can't even keep up with all of them. How you doing? How you doing, Lux?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am doing just fine, thank you. I'm going to call you Cactus because that's what I always call you. But
That's
I'm
That's
fine.
really
what
going
we
to try.
called us this day.
That's what I've been telling people. Everyone's like, well, what do I call you? Just call me Cactus. I'll answer.
I know. It's just like you got a new character. There's a big bout this Saturday, and let's just start right there. I am in no hurry to log on the Queen, and like I said, there's some emotional, psychological, and philosophical damage with that boy. So we'll get to that soon enough. But let's start off with the Chicago knockouts. We've got the return of the Premier League. So these if you were at the rec league, obviously the rec league's a lot of fun. There are themes, elaborate costumes, elaborate storylines, and they're all great. Chaos can erupt at any minute. Premier League roller derby just hits a little different because there's more on the line. The rivalries are intense, and it's all playing for that game in November where champions are decided. And this premier bout's very interesting because you've got the last two champions squaring off. And as far as the Punishers go, in which Lux is playing for this Saturday
Oh,
night,
I'm not playing.
you're not playing.
I'm an alternate.
You're an alternate.
That means if someone of my experience and skill level drops before Saturday, I will play. If not, I'm just there to have a good time.
You know something? I'm going to say this. It's a great luxury to have more than enough quality skill players to be able to field different teams with different colors. So the fact that there are alternates, I mean, that's a good thing. I think because you never know when injury is going to happen and if someone needs to get plugged in. But boy, having too many instead of too few is a nice problem. You got to agree with that.
Yes. Our first ever bout, we had too few, and I ended up having to go in every single jam, even after I'd hurt my arm. So trust me, I don't mind having too many players.
No, and that's beautiful. And then, like I said, as I was leading to, this very well may be a must-win game for the Punishers because they were already defeated by the Crushers in the opening bout of 2025, so they're 0-1 already. Another loss could make it very difficult for a repeat title.
Um, yeah, I would agree with that. I'm not too concerned about their chances against the Haunters, though.
I mean,
So
the Haunters are notoriously talented and very good. Obviously, they have the
no, I agree, but there's been some shakeups, and it's going to be of course, my dog has decided she needs to weigh in now too. I don't know if you guys can hear her.
Well, she's
Um,
reminding you that you're 0-1 and you could go 0-2 very quickly. She's trying to talk reason to you.
oh yes, absolutely. No, there's been this shakeup on the Hunters. Leadership looks different now. There's going to be players you have not seen with them recently on their team. There's going to be a couple of new faces on their team. Rosie, no one needs your opinion. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I mean, the Punishers are a very strong team. I mean, they have Boss, they have Euro, they have Disorderly Conduct, they have um, Killer Whale. So, and it's a cohesive team that has played together actively for a few years, whereas on the Haunters right now, there's quite a bit of newness and a new structure.
Is Ricky Ricochet a member of the Haunters this Saturday night?
Of course she is.
That is something that has to be dealt with because when she is Ricky Ricochet, the ghost with the most, makes it very difficult to beat the Haunters because that skater can take over a game and dominate.
Yes.
So I would have to believe the Punishers might be game planning for a Ricky Ricochet.
Of course. We're not new. The Punishers are not new. Rosie, I know you're a Ricky Ricochet fan. Now is not the time.
So, all right, let's talk about what to expect. What are your predictions? What are your thoughts? I mean, again, if the Hunters, get a victory and they're 1-0, then they're right in line with the Crushers, and then you've got the Punishers that would be 0-2, and then the Rumblers, are still to come. Take me through your thoughts of what can be expected this Saturday night at the HF Auditorium.
I think the Punishers are going to win it. Rosie, no one asked you. She's mad because I created her.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, so I think the Punishers are going to take it, but I do think it's going to be a close game.
It seems like lately the Premier Leagues have been very chippy and very close. That season opener was incredibly intense, and it went right down to the wire. And there were not 100% kumbaya feelings by the end of that fight.
No, but we should not dwell on that.
We're not going to dwell on it, but we're not going to run away and hide from it either.
Okay.
When it comes to contact sports, whether it be wrestling, roller derby, you've got a little bit of pride and a little bit of ego that wrap themselves up in the chaos that occurs, and it can get a little chippy. We've watched it happen.
Agreed.
And like I said, despite what notorious Shaq Jordan says about roller derby, it's insanely violent at times, and the contact.
All I'm gonna say about Shaq Jordan is it speaks a lot to the fact that he said it to you, but he didn't say it to me.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, we've all seen the footage, but at this point,
I haven't. I've just heard.
You should go take a look at it when you have the time. It's me sitting down in ring and asking Shaq Jordan why he did what he did at Rocket Pro, why the sudden change. It seems like it's very popular for the real superstars, the heroes to go rogue, to go heel. We just watched John Cena do it in spectacular fashion. So it's certainly a thing that's happening right now, and Shaq went evil at the wrong reasons, and I was the result of it. And there's Queen JR Lindsey joining us. Queen, just hold your horses. We'll be with you shortly. We'll just soak in that picture for a moment, and we'll talk to him in just a minute. So, Shaq, now he's smiling. Oh, he's doing a car promo too. So just hang on one second, Mr. Champ. We're gonna be with you in a moment. Hang tight. So after Shaq put the chair to my back, as we were being separated at the end of the night, after he got in my face again after the camera stopped rolling, he said, maybe you ought to go hang out with your roller derby friends. You have less of a chance getting hurt around those girls. I'm like, say it to their face. Say that very statement to
for one,
in that locker room.
For one, Shaq, we're not all girls. It's girls, guys, and non-binary pals.
Are there any womans on the team?
What's up?
Are there any womans on the team?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Don't even acknowledge. Please don't acknowledge.
Queen, give me a minute.
It's guys, gals, and non-binary pals, Shaq. So get it right.
We're gonna get
for two. We refer to ourselves as skaters for the most part. Right. For two, Eurothrash clotheslined you out of your chair last season.
I remember well. She's got the hardest head I've ever seen.
And for three, Shaq, you said it to Steve, but you sure shit didn't say it to me or anyone else from the Knockouts. So put your money where your mouth is.
Shaq's very busy. He's running his mouth all around the world. He was on social media today. He and Joey Jet Avalon have a match in Green Bay coming up shortly, and he decided to make it winner gets to beat me with a crowbar. And Joey Avalon would love to beat my ass with a crowbar. So, and now the promoter of that promotion in Green Bay is like, hey, maybe that's something. I don't want to be the stipulation in a match where I get my ass kicked. I get my ass kicked enough. But that's where we're at right now. And I've told Shaq that this whole thing since this went down was stupid, and I'm going to tear him down everywhere I go. My voice is heard many places, and I am not speaking highly of Notorious Shaq the way I once did of the Generational Treasure. Two different people, two different career arcs for sure. Shogun Kris Logan, if he found out about the shenanigans, would not be a happy guy, and that is one of the great men in the business. But with that being said, since we are going to be, at roller derby Saturday night, and we're going to be having the fun there that we always have, why not, Shaq? Why don't you come out and talk to those girls, or talk to the non-binary, talk to anybody
talk to the skaters,
talk to the skaters, talk to any of those athletes on that track about where I should work. And I will wipe the blood off the track after they beat the shit out of you. So, Shaq, I'm going to be in Franklin Park Friday night. If you want to come to CSW, we can have a chat. I'll be at the HF Auditorium.
We'll put Shaq in a room with Boss.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to mess with Boss. There are so many skaters you don't want to mess with. You think, Stone was a fight ref, and Stone doesn't like to fuck with these people. So I'm just saying, Shaq, you talk a lot of shit. You went past the line hitting me with a chair. So I invite you to come anywhere I am if you want to continue this conversation. Other than that, you can puss out, and I'll see you at spring break in April at Rocket Pro. But meanwhile, now that we've talked a little knockouts, let's talk blockheads.
Rosie is saying, no, we're not moving on.
Very first of the evening. It is the Wrestle League Women's Champion, former King JR.
Boo!
King JR. And probably one of the most polarizing figures in all of social media. JR Lindsey. JR, I'm going to give you it. I'll compliment you in this way. You certainly have become a lightning rod for controversy. You talk so much shit. You should be sponsored by Pampers. Now, I was having a conversation with our friend Paragon. Paragon called you out on this show, and Son had said, "Son, do better." And I'm like, Paragon, have you seen what this fool's doing? And he's like, Steve, that's not what I meant. So you've got Paragon concerned. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. What, you're going to therapy 4 times? What is happening?
First and foremost, you're going.
What?
We have no idea what he's saying when he's yelling.
You can't yell on the speakers you have, my friend.
I got some Q-tips right here in the car, Red. See if you need to clean your ears. I said, bow down to your queen.
Well, I heard it that time.
My queen is at home in bed. So,
first and foremost, I'm glad we're done talking about people that don't matter. JR Lindsey is the center of the conversation, Steven. You want to know what's been going on, Steven? You might go on Facebook and the Instagram and the YouTube and the Twitter, and you might see me doing therapy sessions and getting smacked by females and cursed out and screamed at. Steven, social media paints a very different picture of what is my reality. I'm a victim in everything I've been through recently, Steven.
Oh, shit. Another victim, Steve.
Since March J. Rocket became a victim, everybody's a fucking victim.
Right.
John is a victim. JR Lindsey's a victim. LeBron James is still flopping all over the place when he doesn't get hit.
LeBron James is the GOAT. Don't start that, Steven. Don't start that. LeBron is the GOAT. I refuse to believe otherwise.
You ain't got to believe otherwise, nigga. The fucking truth is how many fucking rings
How many
The
points?
nigga got
How
the
many-
nigga gotta
How
get his
many
son.
points, Red?
The nigga
How
gotta
many
get his
points?
son.
How many
The nigga
points?
gotta get his son to play. Help your old daddy out, son. Help me try to
Average
get
out those points and see what it really says.
Michael Jordan will never be the GOAT because he's bald. A shiny head bastard could never be my GOAT. Never in
He
reality.
ain't gotta be your GOAT, son. Your ass was sucking your mama's titty when Jordan was dominating. So ask your mama. Cause
I'm a formula baby. I wasn't sucking no titties.
that explains a lot. All them fucked up chemicals got you fucked up. That's why your face look like it does. That's why your mind.
And speaking
totally
about
fucked.
talking about people that don't matter, Russell, didn't you only make it 1 round fight reffing for us? 1 round.
I would ref anyone.
We haven't seen you in a couple years.
You think I'm scared of a bunch of tippy toes on roller skates, whatever them things called?
Oh shit.
Clearly you are.
Luxie calling you out. Luxie calling you.
Don't go down the Shack Road, brother. You're not going to like it.
Steve, do you know you should feel bad for me? For some reason, I don't know why it comes off the way it does when J.R. Lindsey says things, but when I say things, people tend to like have a lack of empathy for me. Anything bad that happens to me, they think I deserved it because they think I'm an asshole. They think I'm a jackass. They think I'm full of myself. Like I don't even understand where the idea comes from, Steve. I could never be one of those people that's just self-absorbed. You know, the type of people that all they want to talk about is their self. They watch their matches all day. The type of person to wear their own face on their shirt. Like, I just could never be that self-absorbed.
All right.
You just started this conversation saying you're the only thing that matters and that you're what the conversation needs to center around.
That's not being self-absorbed. That's being honest.
Okay.
So, all right. I'll give you this. All right. I have known you a while. I have fought in the trenches against you. I have fought in the trenches with you. When our paths have intersected in many places, I have respected you as a person. I like you for the most part as a person. The Russell that I know, I consider my friend. I think you are good people. I think you have a good soul. I think you are talented as hell. However, whatever the fuck happened to you since we locked horns and you went and got rings from some very important people that put their faith and trust in you, you basically took our respect and admiration and jammed it up the world's ass by stealing a dog, treating your girlfriend like shit, and now robbing elitely talented women wrestlers of their title and calling yourself the Wrestle League Women's Champion. I could go down that list and talk to you about those wrestlers that deserve better than what you have done.
They don't deserve shit, Steve. You understand? They don't deserve nothing. You okay? I was a good person, Steve, and you know what happened? You were there in that ladder match when I got screwed over out of my championship. Did anybody feel bad for me when Hot Rod Daddy Andy fucked J.R. Lindsey over? Or did the word just move on?
We moved on.
Exactly. That's my point right there. People don't feel bad for you. Or at least when it comes to me, people don't feel bad. When I tried being the good guy, Steven, the world fucked me over and then they moved on and left me in the dust. So as far as I'm concerned, everything that happens to anybody now at my hands, they deserve it.
So of all the championships in the various places you work to go after, what made you go after the Wrestle League Women's title?
Because it's easy competition, Steve. Women wrestlers suck.
All right. Now look. All right. I've given you the benefit of the doubt. I've tried to give you whatever little flowers I could. You will not come on this show and talk that kind of shit Okay. Professional wrestling, whether it be man or woman in 2025, is indivisible at this point. There are women out there that outwork men regularly. I want you to walk up to Sierra and talk that shit. She will break her foot off in your ass. Muscle Mommy, she's coming. She's coming. And Steve Michaels, the Rocket Pro Wrestling champion, the man who's about 6 foot, 500 feet tall, weighs about 7,000 pounds, and is a force to be reckoned with, backed up when Mommy got in that ring. You're going to have to deal with these people.
Let me tell you, you know what? It's so funny you bring up Muscle Mommy. You know, that match that I took part of against Lulu, that was supposed to be her match, Steve. But for some reason, something happened by just some stroke of like unluckiness. I heard through the grapevine, Muscle Mommy got attacked by somebody, and then the opportunity just fell through. So, you know, it sucks to be Muscle Mommy, but that isn't somebody I'm too much worried about.
Gee, I wonder who that was.
Yeah, I think it was Tiger King or whatever that dude's name is.
Okay, so you pissed off Muscle Mommy. I saw her promo. She's not happy. I don't think, I admire your brazen approach to where you're at right now. You want people to watch, you want people to click, you want people to acknowledge, well, you got it. People are paying attention to you. People are commenting on everything that you're shoveling out there, for better or worse. Here's the thing. Once upon a time, I would have thought you had the talent to back that shit up. But with the way you've been working lately, I'm not so sure. And Russell, I have stood across from you in that ring. I have taken an ass whipping by you. I have taken the best you had, and it was damn good. You beat me. I beat you. You beat me. We our story might not be over. My career's coming to an end, but our story isn't over yet. I took umbrage on the sacrifices you made. I gave you all the credit in the world for being a fighting, thriving personality in this business. And, we all gave you your respect. And that wasn't enough. You couldn't do it the way everybody else does it and work your way along, get better, work harder, be better. You had to take the shortcut. And now you're wandering around having therapy sessions in public, and you're fighting with your girlfriend. Now, Brittany Kay, nice girl. I have been fond of her ever since I met her. She's good people. She's badass. She's as tough as nails. And you're going to disrespect her by talking this mess? That is not a great way to save a relationship, sir.
Steve, fuck that relationship. I don't know if you saw today, that relationship died when Wrestle League had Don Capri announce me versus Brittany for the Wrestle League Women's Championship next Saturday. So that relationship is dead. And let me tell you something else, Steve. I like, it just really pisses me off so bad. People aren't comfortable with you doing things your way. They want you to do things their way. And you know what? Please allow me to talk, because this is going to be one of those things that sounds crazy coming out of my mouth. But then once you look back at this and sit back and think, you're going to see just how much sense it makes. Paragon, for example. When I fought him, I wasn't a champion. I wasn't even sniffing a championship match. And he told me, you're already a king. You don't even know it. You're so focused on proving that you're a king to everybody else, that you're a champion to everybody else. You don't even know that you don't have to convince anybody. All you have to do is believe it. And so now I'm doing it my way, Steve. Now I believe I'm royalty. Now I believe I'm a champion. People want you to be humble, and then they want you to stop being humble, and then they want you to be humble, and then it just flips back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You can never be too humble, you can never be too cocky. When I was just that little young, little happy kid that was like talking about his emotions and all that stuff and making those albums and shit, then everybody said, you're too humble. You need to be more confident in yourself. And now I went my own way and gaining that confidence and gaining that respect for myself. And now it isn't the way other people wanted me to do it. So now I'm the bad guy.
You know, there might be a whiff of accuracy and truth in that statement. I'm not going to totally shit all over that. I could, but I'm not going to. I think you listened to what Paragon had to say, but I'm not sure you heard him because I don't think this is what he meant. You would never see Paragon go after a women's title. Not that he couldn't, but he wouldn't. And I'm not saying you shouldn't have, but maybe you shouldn't have. It just seems like there are other avenues out there where you could have been confident and you could have dominated and you could have done everything that you wanted to do. But to go down this road, especially at Wrestle League where your girlfriend is a superstar.
Let me ask you this then, Steve. You know how you said Paragon wouldn't do this, so I probably shouldn't? I lead by example, Steve. I don't wait for examples to be led to me. You think when I become a millionaire, I'm going to be a first-generation millionaire in my family, Steve. Mark those words. Now, if I base that off of my family's history and I say no one else pushed the boundaries to live financially free for the rest of their life and to become a millionaire and change everyone else's lives for generations, if I waited until somebody else did it, or even worse, I decided I'm not going to be the one to go towards that journey because no one else has done it yet, then what is that going to make me, Steve? Sometimes you have to be the one to set the example. The blueprint won't always be handed to you. Sometimes you're going to have to go to the workshop, write on that paper, and make the blueprint for people after you to follow. And it just seems like that's the road I'm taking.
You know, I got no problem with what you said there regarding generational wealth and that kind of stuff. I just don't know how you equate your blueprint for your life and your millions with being the Wrestle League Women's Champion. Your opinion and your thought process is like a giant meatloaf. There's every fucking ingredient you had in the kitchen in this pile of beef, and you baked it at 400 for 25 minutes. And we're looking at this big lump of meat. We're not sure exactly what it means, but here we are. And I'm not sure even ketchup can save it. Then I'm looking at your championship photographs, your pictures with your titles, and this whole purple. I mean, are you homaging the Paragon, or I called you the Grimace because that's what came to my mind immediately. I mean, you could be Purple Rain rerun. I mean, there are many ways we can go here.
Steve, purple and pink are my favorite colors now. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Let me tell you something. J.R. Lindsey is done walking in the shadows of somebody else.
But don't walk in the shadows of Barney.
Am I here to be talked to, Steve, or am I here to be disrespected? Because
I'm trying to reason with you, because I know somewhere in all of that festering bullshit is a good kid and a hell of a wrestler. And I'm trying to throw the rope so you can pull yourself back off the cliff, because you're falling, kid. I don't know what the fuck this is. I love you, but you're hard to love right now.
Okay. What do you want me to do, Steve?
What do I want you to do? I want you to be the guy that I know you are. I want you to be that guy that jumped off a ladder to try to win a match. Did you get screwed by Daddy Andy in that thing? I mean, that depends on who's looking at it. There are a lot of things that happened that night that were unfortunate for you. But that shouldn't have stopped you. That shouldn't have made you snap.
Steve, let me tell you why that made me snap. I almost got my fucking neck broken.
I was there. I saw every moment of it.
You want to talk about silence being louder than any other noise in the room? You go back to that sunset flip. Then you want to talk about holy shit moments. The first chant of that night, the first match that chant came from, just so happened to be the match that I was in. Then when I got RKO'd off the ladder, and then making it through all that, Steve, I climbed back to my feet and I speared Jesus off the ladder. You saw it, and everybody else saw it. I grabbed that championship, I raised it high, and I fulfilled my promise. And I told everybody I was gonna Russell shuffle with it back when I was doing that stupid dance. And let me tell you what was so important about that match, Steve. My father was in that crowd. Two of my best friends from high school were in that crowd, and that was the first time all three of them were at the same match together. And I thought this was gonna be my moment, Steve, to make everyone else proud. I thought this was gonna be the moment I could take the championship back home and show my family. This is why I come home at 1:00 in the morning after practice and shows for it. And I wanted to show them that it all paid off. And then I got fucked over. And like we said earlier, the world moved on. I didn't get my rematch, and the world said, so what? So it's kind of hard for me to be in the business of being passionate for people now and considering people's thoughts when it comes to decisions that I make. Because in the end, so what?
Well, I mean, we certainly have gone down the road of ambivalence this week. What you're saying is not exactly what he said, but some of your points were felt on Monday Night Raw with the big thing that the internet's talking about. And that's fine. You want to think that you're a victim. You want to think that you've been wronged, and that's why you have to lash out and do your own thing. Red, you've been in this a long time. You've seen a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Tell me what you see when you look at that young man.
Shit.
From where he was to where he is now.
Shit. I'm just saying. This is the same guy that told us the best dance ever was the Russell Shuffle, and then he just dogged his own self and said it was a stupid dance. So can we really take this shit seriously, Steve? I mean, come on now. I mean, let's be honest. Me and you got a few years under our belts. We've seen some shit. We know some shit though also. And we know when
I know a little shit. You know more.
And we know when people have fell off the fucking ledge. We know when the cheese has slid off the cracker. We know when it's time to call the rubber suit man with the white jacket and the white padded robe. We know. Unfortunately, this young man ain't figured this shit out. Now, he want to go after the women's title, and I mean, it ain't the first time I've seen this shit happen. Okay, definitely won't be the last. I mean, and like you said, he done got all the clicks and all the views and all this shit. And he going after all the people. But is it good business? I mean, let's be honest. Are people really knocking down his door?
Let me be the
But
answer.
now he has a chance, which I totally disagree. And this is my personal opinion. His separated girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whatever the hell, wherever the state they are in right now. She doing her thing. She got her own life. She's her own woman. And he gets mad. And here's the fun part, Steve. Did you watch the promo? Did you watch the promo? He called wrestling a bunch of bullshit. So, if you the women's champ, wrestling champ, it's a bunch of bullshit. Then why are you in it? If it's a bunch of bullshit, why are you in it? But nevertheless, he gets mad at her, and then he puts his hands on her.
Because that's what real men do.
Oh, shit.
That's
Lux,
fun.
you want to jump in, Lux? Lux, jump in.
We now abdicate our time.
You know, I was sitting here, I was having empathy for you, Russell. I was thinking, here is someone who is hurting and is lashing out and needs support and needs moral support, and now you want to be a punk ass bitch and say a real man hits women?
Yeah.
Nothing real about that, brother.
Brittany
Nothing.
Kate could whoop your fucking ass.
And will at Wrestle League
And
Anniversary.
you know it.
Let me tell you something.
Whoop those braids off your head.
Let me tell
Which
you.
ain't hard to do.
You know what? I'm going to attack this piece by piece. First off, I'm officially denouncing you as my mother.
Ooh.
You were already disowned.
Second of all, fuck your empathy. I don't need it because your fucking husband is the reason I'm in this situation. And every step of the way when he did that bullshit, you stood by him with a smile on your face. So as far as I'm concerned, you just as bad as him. Now, see, Red, you want to talk about, is anyone knocking down his door? Is it really good business? You know, I don't really see you as a social media savvy person, so you might be a little uneducated. Let me just school you real quick. When we were running,
nigga,
when we were
please.
running in the
Nigga,
Ravens room,
I was doing social media
when
while
we
you
were
was at
running in the
home
Ravens room,
jacking off the
we were in the
Playboy.
Ravens room.
So shut the fuck up
No, listen,
when it comes to
we
social
were in the
media.
Ravens room.
You
VR,
don't know
right?
shit. You a
Steve, did you ever
stupid
make one of those
jackass.
shows?
You stupid
Steven.
ass. You want to be a bitch? Be a
Did
bitch.
you ever make one
You
of
gonna
those
keep
shows?
being a bitch.
I
After
Did you ever
think
Brittany
make
what's
one
took your ass
happening.
out, you
I
gonna be a
think what's
Did you ever
happening.
make
You're
one of
going
those
to
shows?
be Russell. You've been a bitch. You've always been a bitch. After this shit is over, you're still gonna be a bitch. When
It
you
takes
rap,
one to know one,
you're a
shiny
bitch.
head.
I have a
You are
question.
It takes
a
one to
bitch.
know one.
I have a
shiny
question.
head.
Queen bitch.
It
I have a
takes one to know
question.
one, shiny head.
Russell, do you have a humiliation kink?
What?
Do you have a humiliation kink?
That
What
might
makes
be
Is that what this is?
ever asked.
What
Because
makes
I
you say
think
that?
that's what this is. I think you're enjoying this. I think you're enjoying being screamed at. I think you're enjoying being torn down. I think you're going to enjoy getting your ass beat. Because I
No,
think that's what... No. We're good. We're done. We know what's happening here. It's all good.
No, it's not a humiliation kink. I just like playing with all of your emotions and getting you riled up like the puppets that you are. I'm a puppeteer. I'm a master at this shit, okay? Whatever I want you to do, you're
a
going to do
master.
for me.
You're a
Now, let me
master
tell you
not
this.
washing your face.
We were
That's why you
at the
got all
Ravens
that
room
fucking
VR.
acne up
Hey,
there.
see, Red, talk to me when you get some Just for Men and black that gray beard up.
Nigga,
We were
I
at the
don't need
Ravens
to
room
do that.
VR,
Nigga, when you
and
get my
I
fucking
just so
eggs,
happened
nigga, when
to
you get my
contribute
eggs,
to
you
drawing
come
one of the
fucking
biggest
talk to
crowds
me.
that show
Yo,
had
yo,
ever seen.
nigga, you
Anniversary
still sucking
12.
titty, nigga. So
Anniversary
shut the fuck
12.
up.
Anniversary 12. We were running in the Ravens Room VR. A couple months before that, we debuted at the Ravens Room VR. When I fought Brittany for that stupid ass dog, that was the biggest crowd the Ravens Room had ever seen. Off our backs. That's what you call good business. We went to Lincoln Hall. I had the rap beef with Montrose, whatever his name is. That was one of our biggest crowds since we came to Lincoln Hall. Now, Homewood. Russell versus Brittany. J.R. Lindsey versus Brittany K. Round 2 for the women's championship. Spoiler alert, she's getting her ass beat. And it's going to be in front of a packed out crowd again because J.R. Lindsey is good business.
Nigga, if you was good business, get the fuck out of Chicago. But don't nobody want your bull. Don't nobody want your bullshit.
I've been out of Chicago.
Bullshit.
I went to Memphis and wrestled Brittany, and the match has almost 50,000 views.
Oh, you wrestle somebody that you fucking live with. Nigga, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and guess what? C-Red? That match got almost 50,000 views on my channel, by the way. Not anybody else's.
Yeah, because your ass clicked 49,000.
Yeah, those views were for Brittany. Those views were for Brittany.
You think they came to see her
And
over
this
me?
motherfucker kept clicking
Those
the button.
views were for Brittany.
You
Click,
think
click,
they
click,
came
click,
to
click,
see
click,
her over
click,
me?
click. Click, 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 click. I can do that too, nigga. Click, 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 click.
Let me tell you something. Numbers like that don't come to people that ain't good business. I'll tell you that right now.
Okie dokie, artichoke.
Are y'all gonna be there to see Brittany get her ass whooped?
I'm gonna be there to see you get your ass whooped.
That'll never happen. That will never happen.
And nigga, I would never pay.
What's
Because if
going
I
to
pay,
happen
that's putting money in
you're
your
gonna see
pocket.
her get put
You
on
would
her
never
back.
earn my shit.
You're gonna see her get put on her neck, and then you're gonna see the referees take her to the back, and they're gonna say your winner by TKO, and still the women's champion is JR Lindsey. Whether anybody in this call likes it, anybody in that crowd likes it or not.
Okay. Well, that was unpleasant.
Sure, Jan.
I have one final question for you, JR. Is this all really necessary? I mean, all of this, all of your posturing on social media, getting into a verbal altercation with one of the legends of this business, getting into a verbal altercation and talking down to one of the great roller derby performers that I've ever seen. See, we invited you on this show to try to talk out what was happening. And I did not come into this thing ripping on you like I probably should have or could have. I tried to appeal to the better side of you, which, I thought maybe was still there. But now I'm not so sure because you came on the Power Hour and you talked down to see red. That's not a good idea. And then you disrespected Lux, Cactus Rack.
Did I
That,
disrespect them?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. The adults are talking. Shut your mouth. You disrespect women. You disrespect the legends.
You disrespect dogs.
You disrespect dogs. You may have 50,000 clicks, but they're not good. There are people looking to see what kind of insane tendencies you're up to. And that is like the guy that used to be the juggalo that would jump on light fixtures. That's where you're at right now. You have a very narrow gimmick that has a very short lifespan. And you better have something on the backside of this to back that shit up. Or if you thought you got forgotten after you got that RKO off the top of that ladder, you'll be gone just as quick if you don't have something to follow this. So maybe you beat Brittany, maybe you don't. I don't know. I like to think Brittany's a better wrestler than you, but any given Sunday.
You're so funny, Steven.
I'm just hoping that you do understand what you're doing and you have a plan. Because if you're just making it up as you go and trying to out ridiculous yourself like you have been doing on social media, that is going to wear thin on everybody. And then you are going to end up nowhere. And I don't want to see that, man, because I like you. At least I did. I respected you. At least I did. I felt kind of bad for you. I don't really feel bad for you now because you're not the JR Lindsey that I knew. I don't know who the fuck you are, but you better have your head on a swivel, kid, because there are a lot of people looking for you.
Steve, did I come in here and disrespect anyone, or did I just respond to what they said?
I don't know.
Cactus called me a punk ass bitch. Steve Red started coming at my popularity, and all
I called you a punk ass bitch after you were proud about hitting women. So
right,
go
you earned it. You earned it.
Go cry me a river.
Well, now wait.
I can't wait to see you crying.
You don't disrespect the people on this show, my friend. We brought you here in good faith to talk to you about your upcoming opportunity and what you're doing. We're promoting you. I wish we were promoting you a different way, but we're still promoting you.
You know what? I want you to think about this, Steve. You'd like to talk about this good version of me that you think still exists, even though I think he's fucking dead. Maybe he does still exist, Steve. You know, maybe somewhere he's in there, the one that doesn't have to do crazy shit to get attention, the one that doesn't have to be an asshole or be a jackass or do all these other crazy things. And maybe the one, that kid that wants to go about shit the right way is still there. Or maybe he never left. Maybe he just had to evolve, Steve. Maybe he just had to be just as cold-hearted as the world can be. You know, it's so funny how you were saying not all clicks are good clicks, but in that same token, a click is still a click. You see people now. Tell me if I'm lying, Steve. And this is another thing that might sound crazy at first, but it actually makes sense. You probably on Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see people complain about Monday Night Raw or AEW, and they be like, "Oh, this show sucks. This show's bad. This is bad." But when you go down their Twitter wall, they've been watching for years. They watch, they keep tuning in, putting more money in the wrestlers' pockets that they complain about, and they don't even realize they're part of the circus. They keep tuning in as much as they want to trash it, and then they want to become smart marks and tell you, I'm giving you a view, but it's because I don't like what you do. When they don't even realize they've already lost the race before they even got in it. Because regardless of where you're watching to support me, if you come to a show and you want to see me win, or you want to see somebody kick me in the fucking face, right or wrong, Steve, you still went on Eventbrite and purchased that ticket.
True. I mean, of all the rantings you've had tonight, that makes probably the most sense of anything you said. And I never called you stupid. I never called you dumb. I feel like you're a little naive, and I feel like you are not really in control of your emotions or actions. Therapy might be good for you. I don't know if it's going to save your relationship. I don't know if it's going to save your soul, but I'm always going to believe, Russell, that somewhere in there is the friend I had. And I will watch you through all of this crazy bullshit. And I will feel bad about it because I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't think it needs to be. But that's not my call to make. You have to walk your path. You have to speak your truth. And if hitting women and disrespecting your elders and not recognizing the people that have come before you as being important is the way you're going to go down that road, it's going to be a very lonely road, my friend.
Steve, it's already been a lonely road.
Well, like I said, every step is a new path. Every dawn is a new day, and you have it in yourself to make a change. But only you can change. And maybe you don't want to. Maybe this is the new you. Maybe we all have to accept this women's champion is here to stay. And that Russell that I knew, that I fought, that I went to war with, that I respect, maybe he's dead. I guess time will tell. But, brother, we make predictions on this show all the time. You will not walk out of Anniversary with that belt. You will walk out of that show with nothing but regret and pain because they're coming for you, Russ. They're coming for you.
I bet you I walk out with my championship, Steve. And you know what? I love it. Just even when I was that good kid that everybody wanted to praise, even then I love being doubted because it makes me stronger. So I'm glad nobody thinks that I'm going to beat Brittany. I'm glad nobody wants to see me win. You know what? I even heard her family was going to be there. I'm glad they're going to be there to see their relative get dog walked.
J.R. Lindsey, the women's champion of Wrestle League, will be appearing at the HF Auditorium. It's March 29th, correct?
Yes.
March 29th in that building, the Knockout Dome, the house the Knockouts built that you ran down tonight. You'll be in their building. And Wrestle League's anniversary show, the biggest show of the year, you will fight Brittany Kay. And not only will you be fighting for your title, but you will be fighting for your life and you will be fighting for your soul, young man. And in the end, I hope it's worth it. I guess time will tell.
It will, Steve. And I'll leave you with this. You have my word on this too, by the way.
Okay.
If everything goes the way that you predicted will, and you think I'm gonna have a lonely road and take a lot of hard bumps, and at the end of it, I'm gonna think to myself, it's time to go back to being the good kid that everybody knew. And I realized the error of my ways. You're gonna be the first person I come to, and I'm gonna tell you I'm ready to change and I was wrong. But if at the end of this journey, man, if I end up achieving more greatness than I have right now, I'm gonna come to you the same way, and I'm gonna tell you I was right.
I will wait for that day, and I will be here to have that conversation. Thank you for joining us on the Power Hour, champ. Good luck on the 29th. You're going to need it.
No, Brittany gonna need it. May the queen.
We're going to let, and there he goes. Well, that was unpleasant in just about every way. Before we welcome our next guest, do we have thoughts on that? You know what? I thought he'd come on here. We'd have a few laughs, and we would watch JR be JR. But Red, I don't know. The way he talked to you, the way he talked to Cactus.
Dude,
Maybe.
First of all, I don't give a fuck. Hey, you think you talk to me? I give two shits. I am totally against any man condoning putting his hands on women. That's just my personal belief.
I mean, let's clarify this real quick. Intergender wrestling is a whole different story. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking.
And I get that, but he is so full of himself. Why, I don't know. Maybe it's because he ate too many McDonald's hamburgers in his Grimace outfit. That regardless, you don't make a statement like that. You just don't. And first of all, the shit sounded so bad. Was it just me? Or anybody else felt, maybe I could be wrong. And I've been known to be wrong every now and then. Like he sat up and watched John Cena's promo from yesterday. Like he watched it 30 times and memorized that shit. Like, it was like, ain't this the same shit I just heard on Raw?
I was feeling that's exactly what happened.
It was ominously similar, but I still say Marshe Rocket did that better when he got his victim cookies.
I mean, but Marshe didn't sound like that. And again, it didn't happen right after. But again, my big issue is the disrespect of women, and he believes that, and I'm glad you pointed it out. All clicks aren't good clicks. And then at the end he tried to rationalize it by people that are on Twitter can, they do this thing and they're putting, first of all, nobody's getting paid. Russell, you're not getting paid because you're getting clicks and views. Sorry, sir. You're not there. And grasp the concept, like you said, some people are clicking just to laugh at you. And not so much as just some people. Let's be honest, there are other promoters, there are other promotions that are out there watching his foolishness and saying to themselves,
like Frontline Pro and our good friend Kris Lockman. Hello, Kris. You're going to have to let us mop up for a second, Kris, because we just ran through a shitstorm of chaos with Queen JR Lindsey. We're just reacting to that, and then we're going to go right into Frontline. You'll have to watch this show back, Kris, later, because when you see it, you won't believe it, because I don't believe it.
Oh, I'm sure I'd believe it. I've seen some of the stuff that he's posted online, and I can only imagine some of the stuff he's going to say to react to anything or to set some stuff off. So I get it, guys.
I'm still in shock. Red, finish your thought.
All collects aren't good collects. And like I said, there are promotions, there are people in this business. He seems to still forget I know a ton of fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
And I can easily make a phone call and say no. You know, people still reach out to me and say, hey man, this kid, he's in your area. Is this a good kid or not waste my time? And they can fucking call me about him. You think I'm gonna give him? No.
Not after what happened, boy.
And not even that, but just the simple fact, like I said, you know, like he finds this all fun and games, and you know, but then you try to disrespect Cactus, Lux, and that's why I draw the line. For the longest, this is my personal belief. She has been in his corner since she joined the powwow.
Right.
Since the day she joined, that has been one of her people. Right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he feels like he can shit on her legacy, shit on her teammates and everybody in the Chicago knockouts. No, I will not let you disrespect these athletes who go out there month after month, put their bodies on the line, and your ass couldn't even deal with being a fight ref for half a fucking show. So shut the fuck up, Russell. And this is a little disclaimer, because I'm sure you're gonna watch this back because you want to hear yourself talk. Russell, fuck you.
And scene. Cactus, we know you got to go. So thanks for hanging on as long as you did. We got business with Kris that needs to be done. So we will wish you well and say bye, girl, bye.
Bye, girl, bye. Smooches.
Bye,
And
girl,
I still
bye.
think it's a humiliation kink. So
It probably is.
I still think that. All right. I'll see y'all later.
All right, love you, girl.
Bye.
All right. We are
Love
moving.
you.
We are moving on to Frontline Pro. And my good friend and colleague, one of the finest commentators that I work with. See, right on this screen, if this was my broadcast team, this would be heaven for me. Kris Lockman on one side, C-Red on the other side. I would be a happy camper to my dying day because you guys both make me better. And I have not been at Frontline in a minute for a myriad of reasons. Now, before we get into what's happened, Kris, and that's a fine beer you're drinking. I appreciate that. That's New Glarus right there. That's Spotted Cow, official beer of Wisconsin.
That's the good stuff right there.
Get it at any Quick Trip in their big. And Red knows about the Quick Trip. But we're going to talk.
Turn me on.
Now, people have been asking me, Steve, you haven't been at Frontline since January. What the fuck? And I'm going to tell you, there are a couple of reasons. Number one, there have been more Battle brand shows than Bakerville shows, and I am commentator for the Bakerville brand, and Kris is the lead commentator for the Battle brand. And we will come into contact sometimes. He will come up to the Baker and I will go to, it's interchangeable. It's a joy to have so many great commentators in one company. And Ben does a great job with managing two different rosters. So it's a nice problem to have. I missed the last show at Bakerville because of my wife's situation. Now, I've talked a little bit about it on this show, but I want to clarify it because I see posts about making decisions, working shows here, there, and everywhere. For me in Frontline, it is an incredible commitment because of the time spent traveling. I love it. I love working there. It's one of my favorite places to be because the action is so unbelievable, but it's a 4.5-hour ride. And while my wife has been going through cancer surgery and recovery from a mastectomy, it's very difficult to be 4.5 hours away. So I have done things locally as normal because in Joliet's 20 minutes from my house. The knockouts are 3 minutes from my house. So I have to do the things that are, I do the normal things because they're close to me. I can't go far away because if I get a call and my son calls me and says, "Hey, there's something wrong with mom," 5 hours is too late. I'm dead in the water. Now, fortunately, she is recovering nicely. She has responded well to treatment. We are all very optimistic and we're feeling really good right now. She's been a champion recovering. Cancer sucks. My mom died last year and then my wife caught it. So cancer has been my bed partner for the last almost 2 years. And I hate it. And anybody that has it or has had to deal with it, you all know what it is and how bad it sucks. And I have watched my wife fight her ass off, and I have watched her go through a surgical procedure that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And she is doing great. So now, as we get to the 29th, she is free and clear for the most part. And I have somebody coming to stay with her. So I'll be able to go to Frontline and return to my job. If she takes a step backwards, then I will have to take a step backwards. So as much as I love doing the wrestling thing as often as I do it, and I do, believe me, everywhere I work is a blessing. I have to pick and choose based on the health of my family. And I think we all agree that, it's family first. Even if I was doing this on Netflix on a Monday night, it would still be family first and they would understand it. So to those that say, well, you're working here, but you're not working there, and you're taking this booking, but you're not doing this booking, it's not exactly true in my case. I still want to do my jobs, but I have to pick the ones that are close so I can be home in a moment's notice. So hopefully she continues to improve. And if she improves altogether and she beats cancer, then maybe I don't have to retire at the end of 2025, which is my plan right now. This is it for me. So when the calendar flips, unless she is 100% cancer free and thriving, I have to walk away. So I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping that I can ride into 26 with the rest of the Frontline Brigade and the rest of the people at Rocket Pro and Chicago Style and the knockouts. My fingers are crossed. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. I love it. But there are some things more important than what you love. So that's my story on that. And speaking of what I love, let's start with the first thing that shocked me, and you'll tell me all the other things that are shocking. And I don't know if I want to hear it, but I will listen to it.
Well, before we get going too far, let me just say thank you guys so much for having me on. Absolute pleasure. I feel it's a long time coming, man. We've been working together now for what, like a couple of years?
It's been a great couple of years for me. You are one of the best I've ever worked with, so I'm happy to have you on. It's been I should have had you on before now, and we're going to have you on again in the very near future with the rest of the Frontline staff. So we're gonna double dip a little bit. But you said, Steve, I have to come on because you've missed a lot, and I need you to know some stuff before you come back into the fold on the 29th. And when you said that, I'm like, do I want to come?
Dude, let me just put it this way, right? So we're going into what is going to be the 7th anniversary show, right? So 6 years as a company. This is by far the most chaotic that it has ever been, Steve. I've been with the company since day one, since show one, and right now everything that's happening, everything that, we'll get to here in a little bit, it's just insane right now. The layers upon layers, man. It's crazy. And going from starting off the year with Ground Zero and kind of how everything went with that, and then kind of splitting off into those two brands like you mentioned, the Bakerville and the Battle. Something that for a local company is unprecedented, man. I mean, this is literally two full rosters that could put on banger after banger main events all over the card anywhere in the Midwest. So yeah, man, we're gonna get into it. There is so much to talk about. So I guess you let me know. I kind of was trying to figure out how we could do this. That would be the easiest, but I guess you kind of lead. I'll fill in a little bit. Let me know what you want to know about.
Let's start with the fact that we've gone through the whole Creator Ben and the nonsense from last year. And then in December, the table turned on creator Ben. And we all watched what happened when the Rapture turned viciously on him and then tried to inflict harm to his daughter and then had to be rescued by Avalon and Sierra. That's one thing that was shocking that ended last year. In
Well,
January,
let's save that one for the end, because there is so much going on with that, Steve, that we're gonna need some time on that one, man.
well, we definitely have plenty of time for that. I have been watching from afar, and you sent me private footage of something that absolutely broke my heart. I thought after the Ali Avalon match, and my God, man, were we witnessing perhaps obviously, we're putting it in line with Shaq versus Wittek as one of the greatest matches in frontline history. But that Ali Avalon match was something that I will never forget. And as I watched that match, I was so proud of the commentary work that we did on that match. I mean, obviously, we love Avalon, we love Ali, and, without them, none of it works. But I thought we really came to a moment where it was perfectly spaced. Nobody talked over anybody else. And the three of us really got into an amazing groove. And then, as we are about to put a bow on what could be a match of the year candidate, the asshats come running into the ring and spoil everything. And of course, I'm talking about what was that Saturday Night Live skit? The ambiguously gay duo.
Yep, that was it.
We'll just call Xavier and Merrick the ambiguously gay duo. And they came in and they completely railroaded one of the great matches of all time. And then the tables turned on them again. So not only did they lose their titles earlier in the night, they came in and they made issue with Avalon and Ali. And then Avalon and Ali said, well, let's have a tag team match right now after we spent 20 minutes beating the shit out of each other. And then they beat the shit out of the Rapture again. So after that was over, I thought the Rapture were done. They lost twice in one night, lost their titles. To me, they were like the abominable snow beast in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer after Herbie pulled out all his fucking teeth.
Well, see, Red, I know you've kind of gone this way as well, but sometimes Steve gets a little bit too excited. Just because they're down does not mean that they're out. And at Battle at Bakerville, we found out exactly what their plan was and what they're doing, what they want to do going into Honor Bound. And sometimes, it's that backing an animal into a corner. It's injured, it's down, but it's not out, and that's when they hit back the hardest. And man, that is exactly what they did.
Say it ain't so, Chris. Say I didn't see it. Say
you saw it.
One of my favorites of all time.
You saw it.
Become a part of the Rapture.
So to put this in context, myself, Annie O'Neill, Will the Thrill, we all spoke with him prior to the show. Everything it seemed fine. There was no issue, no nothing. And to say it blindsided us is an understatement as well, because again, like nobody saw it coming. It just kind of happened that way. And I guess he took a bit of umbrage, if you will, if I can use that word. He wasn't too thrilled about being put before intermission. He had a very big victory over Ritas Atlas and debuting Dante Casanova. Everybody looked good in that matchup. And then all of a sudden we come back from intermission and he just goes on the attack after that match, after McCoy had just went out there and just went at the rest of the Rapture as hard as he could at that point. I mean, it was literally it was signed to be a 3-on-3, right? With the Rapture taking on Ben and whoever would be by his side. And, we all know how 2024 ended. Bulletproof Ben McCoy, now that he's back, but the creator burnt a lot of bridges, man. And, nobody was really coming to his aid, and he's still going to fight. He's going to fight until he has no breath left in his lungs. But it was just too much. The numbers game caught up with them. And, just when you think that everything's down and out and everything's over, out of nowhere, here comes Sierra. Jumps on the side of Ben McCoy, jumps in the corner, gets in, does some damage, and just goes to town. And again, though, the numbers game comes back as it always does with these guys. We see it every single time. And, to go back a tiny bit though too, that first match of that show, we saw Kevon Lee taking on Joey Avalon, right? Banger of a match. I literally Kevon Lee gave Avalon everything he could handle. Avalon was just a little bit better on that night. Kevon Lee took a bit of exception to that and attacked him viciously after the fact, and basically just destroyed him with a huge splash from the top rope. I mean, that's a big man right there. He should not be coming off that top rope. More on that later, though. Trust me on that.
He's backwoods Brown big.
Oh, but he's so fast. He's young, man. That guy's got a lot of potential. But again, we'll get back to him in a little bit when we talk about the breakout tournament. But what ends up happening though is he does the dirty work, does the heavy lifting, takes out Avalon, and all of a sudden here come the Rapture to pick the bones, throwing a chair on Avalon's ankle. Aaron Xavier stomping on it. And they were trying to take Avalon out. And so we end up seeing later on in the night, he's basically having to be helped to the back. And now you go, fast forward now till we get to that, what would have been the 6-person tag, but Ben and Sierra versus the Rapture. And it just turned into just a cluster, as you would expect. And next thing you know, all of a sudden, Rapture is trying to attack Sierra with the numbers game. Av wasn't having it, one leg or not. He comes flying out there trying to help, ends up scaring everybody off from the Rapture. Just when we thought everything was fine, Mr. Anderson sneaks in from the back, jumps in the ring, hits Avalon with a mic check, and then the beating continues on Ben McCoy. And again, to say we were shocked is an absolute understatement. He gets a microphone, obviously, and he thinks about it for a little bit, says he's a little bit insulted about being put on before intermission. Look at who he's beat. He's beat Flair. He's beat The Undertaker. Why is he on before intermission? So now, as we start to go into Honor Bound, the challenge has been laid down by Anderson. 4-on-4 elimination tag. Anderson with the Rapture versus Ben and anybody he can find.
Wow, that is a lot. That is a lot. Boy, had I been there for all of that, I might have ended up getting my ass kicked. So maybe for health reasons, it was because I'd have gotten up. With that, that I can't. Although I might have cried as well because Ken Anderson, a hero. I'm like that little kid sitting at ringside when John Cena, pointed him out. I was like that little fat kid with the shirt. So I that might have been maybe not as big a deal as you'd think. I've got a lot to say about Xavier and Anderson and Merrick and Abrams and all of the Rapture asshats.
Well, let me jump in before you start your monologue.
Yeah. I was gonna say I want to see what Red has to say on this one quick, because
I'm not shocked by Xavier taking out Avalon. We know at Frontline, Avalon has been on a run. He's
the banger maker.
I know there is a champion. But to me,
I'm not allowed to say that anymore.
Avalon is the uncrowned champion. He is the one for 2024, 2025 to this point has put the company on his back and carried it. And I think, because I know how Xavier thinks, I know he's scared of Avalon. he knows Avalon is that one person that can decimate the entire Rapture. And I guarantee you, if he's 100%, he can probably give Anderson a run for his fucking money. He doesn't want that. The Rapture doesn't want that. So what do? They take out the biggest bull in the fucking pen. Why? Because now they can pick off everybody else. Anderson joining. I get it in some sense.
I don't get it.
He felt an insult. Can I be real? Bro, you're not on TV no more.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying. I mean, I respect the man. I've met the man. Hey, I appreciate everything he has done for the Midwest and the business as a whole. But, bro, like me, I've got to sit down now. I've got to let the young pups loose. Let their time to shine, right? Like, understand it wasn't personal. You know, like you're taking this personal and now you're joining the king of asshats. Like, I mean, again, I know Xavier just about as well as anybody. He's the king of asshats. At Frontline, y'all should get a crown, and on the front of the crown, put asshat and crown him the king of asshats.
Do you know every February 18th on Potchki Day, he goes on social media and wishes me happy birthday, and then the floodgates open with people thinking it's my birthday when it's actually Potchki Day. I hate him.
Poochki,
Potchki, what the fuck it is?
Hey, man.
It's not my goddamn birthday. It's in June, and it's not revolving around a Danish. But that's neither here nor there.
So I'm interested to see where this goes. A 4-on-4. I know Avalon had personal issues with Sierra sticking up for Ben. I disagree with Avalon. I see her side. I'll put it that way.
Well, I think that
her side.
I think that what it was though was it wasn't really so much Sierra sticking up for Ben as it was Sierra coming out to stick up for Verona.
Right.
When Ben's daughter got in harm's way, you know, that's when Sierra couldn't wait any longer.
Avalon didn't see it that way. Avalon saw it as her sticking up and standing next to Ben and knowing the creator, we have to put that out there, was such a, like he did everything to hold Avalon back. And Avalon has some issues with that. So now he sees somebody he's close to fighting next to somebody he fucking despises. So I'm gonna put this disclaimer out there. Steve, I'm sure you'll love this. Ben, it's 4-on-4 with a manager. I might be free, Ben. Give me a call.
Oh, I believe C. Red is the man that could take out Mr. Abrams. All right, so
speaking of hold on, before we go again, speaking of Mr. Abrams, speaking of the master of mayhem, AJ Abrams, y'all know my history with him. You know, we go back about as long as you guys go back, you know, like we got into this business together. We've done, you know, sat side by side before, you know, had a podcast for a long time, a lot of things mirror, you know, but man, I just got to say that I'm extremely proud of what he's doing. I don't care for how he's doing it, but I'm happy he's doing what he wants to do. You know, he wants to be out there in front of the people. And man, I gotta tell you, he has picked up, his heat has been so massive lately. If you don't hear an AJ sucks chant at least once, possibly twice during a match, that crowd's just sitting on their hands, man. They're just being too quiet. But he's been getting mad heat. So, you know, again, I don't really agree with how he gets it done, but he's out there getting it done, man. You got to give it to him.
Well, I got the ice cooler over here.
That's fair. So Ken Anderson, my problem there is from a fan's perspective, because that's what I am. I thought the greatest sin the WWE ever did was mishandling the trajectory that was Ken Anderson or Ken Kennedy at the time. They're doing very similar things, in my opinion, with LA Knight right now. They're trying to be too cute and not letting a charismatic person that would identify with the crowd in extremely creative ways. They're trying to keep a lid on that pot. And I think if we've learned anything about wrestling, when a pot is boiling, you don't put the lid on it. You let it go and see where it takes you. There was a moment in time where he would come out on a Monday or a Friday or Thursday, whatever day SmackDown was in those days, and he was the pop of the night. And it wasn't even close. I mean, you had Triple H, you had Kurt Angle, you had The Rock, you know, they were all there. All the heroes of the Attitude Era were there. And Ken Anderson had captured the imagination every time he would raise his hand to the heavens and that mic would drop from the ceiling. It was amazing. And then it was gone. And it went to TNA and it went other places. And Ken's had a fantastic career. He's a trainer now, so he's a credit to this business in every way. But I was all in on Mr. Kennedy. Every corpuscle, from shirts to merch to, you know, I was there. I was in it. And then he was gone. And now I've had a chance, now that I've been in this business for a minute, I've had a couple of chances to work with him. And, you know, they say, be careful when you meet your heroes. I have never been able to sit and have a conversation with him because he doesn't have time or he charges for it. So I haven't really been able to thank him for impacting my wrestling life because he's not the most approachable guy in the world. And now he's joined the fucking Rapture? Well, now it's my mission statement to fuck with this guy. I have made it very clear since day one that taking down the Rapture is what I'm there for. When Ben brought Aaron Xavier just to spite me, and that's what created the Rapture, that told me that I had to be physically involved in this scenario. And I took a chair shot. And they've come over and they've messed with me and they've gotten in my face. And you know, my history with the Rapture, you know, my history in Frontline might be short, but it's been full of controversy, which is typically how it goes. I'm no stranger to it. But now that Ken Anderson is part of this mix, I will not shut up on commentary about it. I am going to hold him accountable for what he's done. If his excuse is I was upset because I was on before intermission, get the fuck over yourself. What that tells you is Frontline is thriving because there are important matches coming up after intermission. Your spot on the card doesn't matter. You're there. It was
two championship matches and Ben McCoy taking on the Rapture by himself. I mean, that's what we had after intermission that day. I mean, you put Shaq Jordan and Jared Jackson there for the Bakerville Championship, or Congo Kong against Josh Price in there for the Frontline Championship. Those are some big time matches right there.
And here's the thing. He gets paid what he gets paid regardless of his slot on the card. So what the fuck difference does it make? Apparently a big difference. And now
one way to go from being before intermission on a card to being in the main event on the biggest show that you have on your whole calendar. I mean, it's effective. It worked. I mean, if he was that insulted, he put himself in that spot. He took the time. I don't like how he did it, man. But he put himself in that main event now.
He manipulated the system and got what he wanted. That is the story as old as time. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. That doesn't mean I have to respect it. And I am going to talk about it. And when we are sitting together on commentary at whatever show we're at, I will talk about it ad nauseum because now I'm pissed. I still don't trust Ben because Ben wronged me in many ways. But I do appreciate the fight Ben is undertaking to get his company back because right now he doesn't have control.
No.
It would seem like the Rapture has control.
It's the Wild West right now, man. It's just anything goes. Everybody's doing whatever they want, taking whatever they want. I don't know how many times over the past month I've seen Kevon Lee attack somebody after the bell and nothing happens. I mean, to again preview a little bit, he did it again at Breakout Tournament, and did some real damage, man. And it's just, but this is what's happening right now. This is the state of Frontline Pro. It's absolutely insane. Anything goes right now.
When the talent level gets to a certain threshold and you have a bunch of A-list talents that are fighting for spots on the roster, then you get people like Ken Anderson who are pissed off that their spot is not what they'd like it to be. And that creates a bunch of instability. And that's not a good problem. That's a bad problem, especially with Ben, the leader, not being at the height of his locker room powers right now. He doesn't have full control. There are still people that feel the effects of what he did, kind of blame him for putting us in this position. Bringing in Xavier to spite me, all it did was end up screwing him and his legacy to a certain extent, and it put his daughter in danger.
You warned him.
You tried. I did. I warned everybody, but nobody wants to hear it. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to listen. But here we are. And like I said, I have said it once. I'll say it 100 times. Aaron Xavier and I, we have a very adversarial relationship, and we've had it for many years. And I will do whatever has to be done to rid Frontline Pro of the evil genius. I will die on that hill. If it's him or me, I will make the sacrifice play because he needs to go away. Frontline means more than Aaron Xavier. Aaron Xavier has been a locker room cancer, has been a company destroyer since the day I met him. And he has lived up to that billing all around. And if we don't cut that cancer out, and believe me, I know a fucking thing or two about cancer now. If we don't cut it out, it's going to spread and get worse. And Kris, from what you say, it couldn't get much worse.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about Ben McCoy and Rapture business and stuff as we kind of talk about the next couple shows and everything. We'll try to make them a little bit quicker if we can, but that's one of the biggest things that's happening right now. Again, going into Honor Bound, you're going to have that 4-on-4 matchup, and I mean, again, like you see one side being all on the same page, everybody's ready for it. On the other side, it's basically one guy trying to fight by himself. But Ben, like I said, he'll do it. If he's got to do it by himself, he'll do it. But hopefully it doesn't come down to that.
There are people in this business that will still back Ben McCoy at every turn. And I'm quite sure that there are people out there that he will reach to. That might not be people that are currently involved in storylines or even on the roster. But Ben has been in this business a long time. Hell, the man got shot in the face, for God's sake, and lived. If you can survive that, you can survive the Rapture. Because when you break it down, it's a bunch of clowns that use the numbers game to get what they want. And eventually the numbers run out, Kris, and they will in this case too. And Honor Bound, if it's 4-on-4, I'll look forward to seeing who Ben pulls. Because I guarantee you this. He will not ride into that event without 3 people on his side. And those people won't be thinking about the creator. They'll be thinking about Bulletproof Ben McCoy, the man that started Frontline, the man that created this. Not to use the term creator, but there are guys out there that don't know what happened that will fight by Ben's side irregardless. So you just got to figure out who those guys or girls are going to be.
We'll find out, man. But so let's talk about a couple other quick matches on the card though from Battle at Bakerville. Get you caught up there. We had like I said, Kevon Lee versus Avalon. I talked about that one a little bit. Again, Kevon Lee is an absolute beast, man. Again, I'll talk more about him when it came to the breakout tournament. He had a very impressive showing there as expected. I mean, like wow, he was this close, man.
That
Uh,
dude chart.
but so we were looking forward to having our second ever Liberty Division match, our first ever at Bakerville. And things kind of got a little bit changed up. We were going to see McCully Rose debut taking on returning Rory Shield. Things happened out of Rory's control, wasn't able to make the show. And instead, Badger Briggs answered the call, took the opportunity to make a debut. So good match. Again, Briggs took this one, basically on less than 24 hours notice. But I really hope to see her back in a Frontline Pro ring. McCully Rose got a victory. Little bit of shenanigans, kind of stole one. I'd like to say. The referee. Usually Ronnie Schumer is right on top of stuff. She's one of the best in the state, in my opinion. And she just missed the call, man. McCully Rose was able to get one over, use the ropes for leverage, got a roll up on Briggs, use the tights, 1, 2, 3. Kind of surprised everybody on that one. When you saw Badger Briggs come out, you're like, oh man, business is about to pick up. And just again, McCully Rose pulled one over on her. So, you'll have that, unfortunately. But again, hopefully we see Briggs in Frontline Pro again. And for McCully Rose, impressive victory. Pretty, again, like I'm gonna go back to this all the time. I don't have to like how it happened, but she got the dub. And that's what's important in that division, man. Only two people have a singles victory in that division, one being Sierra, the other being McCully Rose now. So as we build towards Liberty Bells coming up in August, I think that's two names you could probably look out for on the road to that.
100%. The Liberty Division is on fire, and it just gets better and better. And there's a matchup coming on March 29th. Another matchup. We got Rory Shield returning.
Yep. She's going to be taking on Ray Larson, who's going to be making her Frontline Pro debut. Don't really know too much about Ray Larson, but I'm really excited to see what she's going to bring to Frontline Pro in that Liberty division. So, and again, Rory Shield making her return. She wants to get back on that winning way. So
she's got something to prove after what Sierra did to her. So again, the Liberty division is heating up, and as we head to August, it's going to be one hell of a show. The first ever Frontline Pro all women show, which I'm looking forward to being a part of. It's going to be a fantastic event. But as we go down this road, the Battle of Bakerville changed a lot of opinions about a lot of people. It was chaotic from what I hear. Stars were born, stars were rekindled. Some things happened that you weren't expecting. Kris, take us through the shenanigans of that.
Well, I mean, let's go with let's start with so we were able to have Kevin Calloway. We've seen him recently make his debut. I think back in in January, actually, at Ground Zero. Him and Sam Eli have been intertwined since that time. Both of them trying to make a name for themselves. Calloway was able to get that victory over Eli at Ground Zero, and Eli trying to get back at it, get a tag match here, and the unlikely team of Kevin Calloway in the system, but taking on Sam Eli, and what better partner could you have than Quinn Whittick? And again, Quinn trying to get the chip off of his shoulder from January. Steve, you and I, after we saw that match with him and Jake Parnell at Ground Zero, both of us looked at each other, and we sat there as long as Quinn sat there before intermission, and it took quite a while for him to get out of the ring. We weren't sure if we were going to be seeing him for a while. And luckily he came back, and he was just as fired up as you would expect, but a little bit of craziness after that matchup, man. Quinn's got a little bit of an attitude right now, a little bit more so. He's always kind of had that edge. He's always kind of, rode that line, but man, like right now he's something else. And I'm not sure exactly when we'll be seeing him next exactly, but man, there's something to him. But luckily, Sam Eli was able to calm him down afterwards, because they looked like they were about to get into it even after a victory. And Sam Eli, man, I gotta tell you, again, somebody else that had a great weekend at Recon at EverCon. Both days had impressive showings and matches. And then same thing in the breakout tournament, man. That guy has all the momentum right now. I'm telling you. Like you want a guy to watch out for right now, he's going to be at the top of my list in Frontline Pro. Sam Eli, remember that name.
He's doing great work. He's doing great work at CSW. He's doing great work at Rocket Pro.
Over at HWE as well.
He is a name on the move. I am very familiar with him. Yeah, you are 100% right, Kris. I couldn't agree with you more.
So looking forward to see what goes on with him coming up here. I think there's some big things in his future, man. I'm just going to put that out there.
Hey, I'm right there with you. So after the battle for Bakerville was over, what was the end game? How did it end?
Well, let me go back to we can't gloss over this one though, man.
Okay.
Backwoods Brown, he put a beat down on, like he does, drank a lot of bush lattes, and speaking of him coming up, we were talking about that show March 29th.
Yes.
We're gonna have again the anniversary show, 7th anniversary show, and this one just got announced like earlier this week. Backwoods Brown is taking on Hartenbauer, and this one is gonna be insane, dude. If they run back anything that they've done in the past, I told Bakerville, I told Malachi and Tyler over there, I'm like, yo, you guys better up your order of beer for that night because they're gonna drink all of it. They're gonna beat the hell out of each other, and then they're gonna drink all your beer, and we're gonna love watching it.
Malachi said, "No problem. We got the goods." Yeah. They never worry. Those guys, they have resources that Rockefeller would like to have. I
love them. But so that was crazy right there. But dude, that Bakerville championship, Jared Jacks has been on probably the run of his career, and I mean that's saying something. Since he got that Bakerville championship back at the Freedom Cup, he's not letting go, man. He's taking on everybody and running through them. But he runs into Shaq Jordan on this night, and this is I think the first time we've had this happen. It was a time limit draw.
Really?
And Shaq had him. Shaq had him. It was this, man. It was so close. Shaq hit a huge frog splash, and Jared just happened to roll a tiny bit, a couple feet. If he wouldn't have, then Shaq probably would have been. I think he would have been the champ. Right as the clock went down, but it got to 2. Bell rang. That was it. Shaq took him to the limit and just was 1 second too late.
Well, that of course at Frontline, it is the generational treasure, Shaq Jordan. I'm having my issues with the notorious Shaq Jordan, but that's
I've seen
another universe. For another.
Well, don't bring that up this way, man, because he's gonna be busy. No. He's gonna be busy coming up. He's got Parnell on the docket coming up for
that is going to be
the
a
29th.
I am looking forward to calling. I think that has got certified written all over it.
Oh, 100%. And then in the final match though too, Josh Price, the wrecker, doing what he do. That meat sauce, taking on Congo Kong for the championship. That is a lot of man in that ring. Josh Price, he goes by many names. He even added one more name for that night, and that was Monster Hunter Josh Price, and he was able to get it done, man. That was one of the more physical contests I've seen in Frontline Pro in quite a while. Congo Kong took him to the edge, man. He almost had him a couple times too, but Price was able to make it through it, and some good stuff, man. So Battle at Bakerville was pretty solid, man. I will say that one.
And then you guys had the weekend of EverCon, and I understand that went over huge. I got to see some pictures. You guys had quite a crowd gathering for those matches.
Both nights, man. It was we didn't know what to expect going into it. It was a board game convention, a video game convention. We had no idea if anybody was going to show up or what it was, but man, that crowd was into it both days. People were filtering in and out. People were coming in. We had cameos by Batman showing up, and just big ass Mario showed up and got in the ring. Man, that was crazy. Didn't see that coming. We had the 99 overall championship on the line, and one of the craziest battle royals I think I've ever seen in my life. It was just top to bottom, man. It was an absolute blast. From what I've heard, they want us back already next year.
Oh,
And
I
if that's the case, I am all in on that, dude.
once a company like Frontline Pro gets in the door somewhere, they get a taste of how special it is, and I imagine Frontline will be welcome at EverCon as long as they want to go. So that's a nice
Oh, for
problem.
sure.
I mean, what, 3 more shows in a 30 show season? Why not, right? Oh,
And
go, go.
it was great though too, because I mean you had a mix of a lot of different kind of matches, you know, and it was kind of nice to just have some different characters on, you know, trying to again make a name for themselves, you know, this being one of the first few shows for the battle brand, you know, it was kind of a like, not, I wouldn't say a test run, but it was kind of an audition in a way of seeing, you know, who's going to fill out those final spots on that roster. And I think a lot of people showed up that weekend. You know, again, Sam Eli being one of them. Silky Smooth was fantastic. Him versus Disco Ray was a blast to watch. That one, you know, the crowd was all about those two, as you know, you'd expect them to be. We saw the reemergence of Hurricane Ben. I know you're familiar, Steve. Uh, that one was great. That was Hurricane Ben teaming up with Kid Lat and Adonis Allen. So it was that was interesting. It was a hurricane, lightning, and thunder. So that was pretty fun.
Only
Uh,
exclusively to EverCon.
but you know, we keep talking about the Rapture. Let's talk a little bit about it, though. There was one bit of business that happened on night one of Recon, and that was Ben McCoy taking on Rockin' Rivera. And you know, I'm kind of surprised that, you know, anybody from the Rapture is even stepping up, you know, knowing that it's a one-on-one contest. I mean, I get it. You have, you know, AJ on the outside. He's going to get involved, but I think Ben's fine with taking a, you know, a 2-on-1 compared to the, you know, 3-4-on-1 he's had recently. So
Plus,
Ben had him
I've seen him wallop AJ to my amusement many times.
pretty much every time. I think it's been a consistent thing. I'm here for it though. I gotta say. But you know, Ben had it. Ben had it right in front of him. And you know, this is where the wild card comes in though. This is where AJ pays dividends, right? So Rockin is trying to suplex Ben, or sorry, Ben is trying to suplex Rockin back into the ring from the outside, right? Trying to pull him back in, and then he was gonna hit that elbow drop, hit that DDT, 1, 2, 3, we're done here, right?
Right.
As he's doing this, as he and Rockin ends up raking the eyes of Ben. Referee doesn't see this, and then kind of counters it into like a cross body. And as he does this, AJ reaches down, grabs McCoy's feet, holds him down, can't get out, can't kick out. Rockin steals one. So
Honestly, I forgot Rockin' Rivera was a part of the Rapture, to be honest with you. He's like a fart in the wind in that faction.
just the most miserable person we have in Frontline Pro, and that's saying something.
That is saying something. Wow. What? I've only been gone a month. Jesus Christ.
We ain't even done yet, man. We're about halfway through here, dude. It's been so much.
All right, pedal to the metal. What else? What
yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff?
So one of the highlights of the entire weekend was the Falls Count Anywhere match from ACR and Nathan Gust. Raging Nathan Gust was back for the first time in years, and it was great. One of the best people that I've ever worked with, man. I go back probably about as long as I go back with Ben with Gust, and every time he's around, man, he's just a pleasure to be around for real.
He's that guy, man. He's the
Always.
Energizer Bunny. Doesn't matter how old or how sore or how in pain he is, he always delivers.
So he shows up, man, and he ends up putting on a banger with these two. These two end up leaving because it's Falls Count Anywhere, and they take off. I tried to follow them. I lost them in the back, and you know, they ended up, well, we gotta start the main event. We gotta start the battle royal. So they get everybody out there for the battle royal, and you know, we're getting down there, and next thing you know, we're just about down to like our final four, final five, and all of a sudden here come Gust and ACR fighting from out of nowhere, joining the battle royal in progress, mind you. And now this thing has just become the most ridiculous thing. I don't know if you know, but Gust has his title. You know, before the WWE had the 24/7 championship, Nathan Gust and now had the 24/7 championship. So when WWE kind of decided to go that route and literally put a clock right on the belt, what did he do? Well, he goes a little bit harder than everybody else, so he's got the 25/8. And this thing is ridiculous. This thing has been around. I mean, you kind of lose track of how many times anybody's been a champion. It's getting into like R-Truth 24/7 champion numbers. I swear it's been crazy, but this one's on the line all the time. So not only is that matchup, that battle royal for the EverCon 99 overall championship, but it's also for the 25/8, and it literally gets down to the final two, ACR and Nathan Gust, and ACR just charged at him. Gus was able to get out of the way, low bridge, and became the first ever Frontline Pro 99 overall champion. And it couldn't have gone to anybody better. In all honesty, that belt was perfect for him. His first singles championship, mind you, in like 17 years, outside of a company that he's owned.
Wow.
And afterwards he's talking about what this means to him, and it means acceptance. It means that somebody's like finally like seeing the value and stuff, and it just felt great. And yeah, again, couldn't have gone to a better dude, in all honesty. And by the end of the night, everybody was chanting Nathan two belts. So
Shouldn't they? Absolutely right.
yeah, it was fantastic, man. That was a great way to end night one, going into night two. And night two, man, was a whole different feel. So night two had Disco Ray versus Adam Grace. Adam Grace picked up a big victory in that one over Disco Ray, who couldn't have been 100%. Him and Silky got into it so much, even during that battle royal. Couldn't have been 100% going into that one. Adam Grace came in fresh and was able to get it done against Disco. Just a couple other highlights though. Well, so night two, Ben McCoy has a shot at vengeance against the Rapture. He's taking on Chris Merrick, one-on-one with AJ Abrams.
Dollar stop, Eminem.
I think you can kind of see where this one's going, Steve.
I do.
So yeah, not gonna get too crazy into it, but let's just say the finish was rope assisted, and stacked him up in the corner. And 0 for 2 recon weekend, Ben McCoy. Merrick picks up a victory. Rapture's 2-0 against Ben McCoy since Battle at Bakerville.
The Rapture have been on quite the roll after I thought they were over. When I left, the Rapture was done. They were dead. It
So I was
seems
trying
like
to tell you.
battles and got resuscitated, and now I have to deal with this bullshit all over again.
Well, we'll get into what's coming up, but it, in the main event of that one though, or actually, I can't gloss over this one because this was huge. So, on the battle brand, we're going to have the battle championship, right? And it was vacated. And so now this was the opportunity for, 6 people. We had Aaron Wolf, Kid Lat, Sam Eli, Coda Jacobs looking to become a 2-time battle champion, Silky Smooth, and battle tested Ben Evenson. And this one was crazy from start to finish. Everybody gave their all. Everybody went for it. And just on this night, though, man, battle tested Ben Evenson was on a different level. Former Frontline Pro world champion. He just, nobody was going to beat him. It wouldn't have mattered. It could have been 5-on-1, man. He was taking out everybody, and he did.
Captain America, he can go all day.
And he did, man. And he got it done. And the pop that he got, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house when he got on that mic afterwards, man. He talked about how much it meant to him to especially have that championship, knowing what it is, knowing that lineage, seeing that red, white, and blue on the front of it. And I think that battle championship just means a little bit something different, a little bit something extra special when it's around his waist. So looking forward to kind of what he's going to end up doing too. Talk about it here in a sec about he took on a challenger right off the bat at the next show. So, but again, I think he's going to be a fighting champion going forward, man. He's going to run with that thing. But
that's amazing.
So main event, night 2, and then we'll be pretty much done with recon here. ACR and Brock Hall were taking on the team of Joey Avalon and Sierra.
I've heard about this match.
And yeah, man, this one was just crazy. there's some matches that like when you get to that point and it's been a long weekend and it feels like, oh man, just ready to kind of wrap this one up and get home, and but this one, man, they were so entertaining in this. It was going back and forth the entire time. And you never know who's going to show up in Frontline Pro. I mean, all of a sudden I look over and I see Avalon holding Brock Hall, and all of a sudden I see somebody winding up for a chop, and I'm like, who is that? And all of a sudden I notice, and it's Leva Bates. I mean, it's literally out of nowhere, and like she was there doing an improv thing or whatever for the weekend, not booked wrestling or anything, just happened to kind of come over and check it out, and next thing you know, she's chopping Brock Hall in the chest, man, during that main event. So fingers crossed, big fan of Leva Bates. So we got Liberty Bells coming up. I'm just saying, be some cool
Stranger
stuff
things
there.
I mean, Ben's got so many people on speed dial. You just never.
But Avalon and Sierra pick up a victory there. Again, hard fought match, but all in all, man, literally Recon at EverCon was one of the coolest events I think that we've done in Frontline Pro. Back-to-back days was crazy. But again, it was really cool to see how the wrestling world and video games and role-playing games and board games and all of it just kind of all came together, and they seemed to really accept us, and they were like hot for both shows the entire weekend. So it was really cool to see that, and like I said, hopefully we get to go back next year. So
That gets us through the battle at Bakerville,
yep.
Recon, and now we've got the breakout thing.
Yep. Breakout tournament was crazy as well, obviously, as you would expect. One of the first battle show at Bakerville. So this one meant something. I feel like you could really tell that in the air, a lot of people were looking to really bring it this night. So and I gotta say we got to see the return of the Ewok. That was pretty cool. It's been a while since we've seen him, and he was taking on somebody who debuted at in the pre-show match at it was actually going to be at Battle at Bakerville.
Miles Mercer,
guy by the name of Ezio Orlandi, and
okay.
so I had never seen him before, and I was talking to him for a little bit and stuff, and over the past few weeks, I've seen him quite a few times now, obviously. And again, you want to talk about, like I said, Sam Eli before. This is another guy I think in Ezio Orlandi that I think has a lot of potential. I think he can bring something different. He's in there with guys bigger than him, smaller than him. It doesn't matter. He's showing that he can bring the speed game when he's up against a guy like ACR. You can bring the a bit more of the power game when he's in there with a guy like Ewok. So like it's just been interesting to see how his styles kind of work in Frontline Pro, and so it was cool to see him. But Ewok picked up a victory in a return, much needed, man. It's been a while since we've seen Ewok. I think after him and Rock and Rivera lost the tag team championships as the Windy City Devils, we only really saw him one more time before he kind of took a little bit of a break. But great to see Ewok back. Always fun seeing him around. Definitely having a good time as always. So cool there. But we had the 4 fatal 4-ways. I won't break down each one, but I'll just kind of give you the highlights, let you know who won, because then all those winners went on to the main event in a fatal 4-way to become the first ever. And I put the little asterisk next to this by explaining that it's we're treating this as a new championship. It's a new belt design. It is it's going to be a new title because of we got a new brand, new year. Let's go start fresh and let's really make this one work. And I don't know if you've seen that Intrepid Championship, but that thing is immaculate, Steve.
Yes, the belt quality at Frontline is second to none.
Yeah. So during this one, we had our 4 group matches. Out of those, Sam Eli, who we've been talking about, he gets a victory. He moves on. Nell Dillinger was able to get a victory and be able to get through. Then we had Kevon Lee, dominating in that first round, and then rounding it out, money making Corey McHenry.
Corey's been on a roll everywhere he goes.
Dude, seriously, I have been all about him, and again, like from the time that he came into Frontline Pro, man, you knew there was something about him. He had that combination of that charisma, that speed, that strength. He just had that look. He just had that confidence, and you just knew right away, like, this guy's gonna be somebody.
Absolutely.
Let me make sure. Damian Tyler lost.
Dude, he was
Just-
in he
just-
did. He did.
Yes, life is good. Life is good.
Red hates Damian Tyler.
I hate
All right,
that
so
shit.
we had 4 fatal 4-ways, and the winner of each fatal 4-way went into the final fatal 4-way to become the intrepid champion.
That is correct.
All right,
That
so
was it was
we got
interesting.
Dillinger, Eli, McHenry, and Kayvon Lee. So that's a hell of a ending fatal 4-way. How does it end? And you said there's an asterisk.
Well, I'm saying that as the championship, because we did have a former iteration of the Intrepid Championship, but it was a different form. So this being a new belt, a new title, and everything, it's a new lineage. So we're treating this, and this was our night to crown the first ever Intrepid Champion now. So that's the only thing.
Champion 2.0.
Sure. So, but that one was really solid. But I'll tell you about the rest of it here in a sec. But and again, it was interesting because we saw a little bit more of Merrick and Ben McCoy, and this one boiled over. This one got out of control, out of hand, real fast. It just the rest of the night, you could just tell something was off, right? It just kind of had that feeling after intermission. All of a sudden, things just kind of felt a little odd, and it's because the rest of the night, the Rapture was just hanging around, just chilling out, just making themselves known. Just we're over in the corner. We're not doing anything, but we're going to be here to watch.
You know how much I would have hated that, right?
I could see, Steve, I could see them from the table. They're literally directly straight over. And it's like, you know what they're doing. They're just waiting. But so we had our battle championship matchup. Ben Evenson just winning the championship the weekend before, taking on Adonis Allen. They had a little bit of an altercation after after Recon. And Ben laid down the challenge, and obviously Adonis was going to step to it. Youngest battle champion we've had. So it was a good contest. Adonis Allen actually showed a lot of grit. He I think Evenson, Evenson wasn't going to take him lightly, but you know what I mean? Where it's you see that size disparity, you see, and the physicality, and Adonis brought it, man. I gotta say, that was probably the most physical I think I've seen him in Frontline Pro.
He's getting exponentially better every month.
And I think that even though he lost the matchup, he earned something that was really important though too, and that was the respect of Ben Evenson. They've teamed up before and everything, but I think Ben, seeing him in a one-on-one contest and seeing how much he's improved recently too, I think Ben was impressed. And so were the rest of us, but Evenson was able to get a victory there. And like I said before, man, I think he's going to be a fighting champion. I think he's going to be putting that thing on the line anywhere and everywhere against everybody. So, and I'm for it, man. That's gonna be good.
We're lucky to have it. So I'm
for
with
real.
you.
So we're talking about the Rapture kind of just hanging around and stuff, and the next matchup we had was something that was kind of interesting on paper, Steve. It was Sierra and Avalon teaming up again, taking on the Bro Bros, the returning Bro Bros, mind you, and
Joey Avalon had some very strong points about fun and wrestling in regards to the Bro Bros. So I'm sure that was an adventure.
Chad was trying to get him to play hacky sack in the ring, right? And they were kind of having fun, joking around. And I don't know if you've seen any of this footage or any of this, but oh my God, man. He goes to serve it up to Avalon. Avalon wasn't having it, caught it out of midair, and threw that thing as hard as I have seen. And it hit the wall probably about 5 feet away from us. You can hear it. I'm pretty sure it made a dent in the wall at Bakerville. And as he did that, some kind of switch flipped in Chad. Took his sunglasses off, and it was all business from then.
Yeah.
And the Bro Bros, former Frontline Pro tag champs, getting after Sierra and Avalon, man. It was back and forth. It was really back and forth. And then, obviously you get down to the end of it. Av and Sierra are able to get a win, and then all of a sudden here comes the Rapture to pick the bones, and here we go again. And
nothing but a bunch of thugs.
But this is what got interesting though, because McCoy comes out, they get into it. Him and McCoy and Avalon get into it, and the Rapture is just sitting there laughing. walking away literally just laughing and just yucking it up and enjoying every bit of it.
That's the
And
end result they wanted. They want dissension. And like I said, this is building to honor bound. If you get everybody pissed at Ben again, he's going to have a hard time fielding a team. So it's all premeditated.
well, and I'll tell you where we go after that. But let me finish off this show. Let's get to that main event, and then I want to run down just a quick rundown of the card we got coming up, Steve, because we already talked about a couple of them, but there's one that sprung off of this that is going to be, oh boy, buddy. Okay, so that main event though, for the Intrepid Championship, we had Sam Eli, Nell Dillinger, Kevon Lee, and Corey McHenry. I'm gonna let you guys make picks. Who do you think got it done?
Corey.
I'm going to go with
Nephew.
I'm going to go with Kayvon.
All right. You're right, Red. Corey got it done, man. Corey got destroyed after his matchup. When he got the victory in the first round, Kevon Lee came out and just destroyed him. Corey came out holding his ribs, all taped up. A lot of us were questioning, should you even go? It was that, but he was going to do it. You're not going to be able to tell him no, especially when the championship's on the line. Be the first ever, and he got it done, man. It was an elimination match too. I don't know how the hell he survived that and made it all the way through, but he got it done.
He's a tough kid. He deserved it.
That's his first singles championship in Frontline Pro, man. I've been talking about, guys like Gust, guys like Evenson, but, like earning it and deserving it. Same thing with McHenry, man. That guy has been just killing it since he got into Frontline Pro.
No doubt. He always seems to find the best people to bring into this company, and they always shine. So well done, Corey McHenry. Can't wait to see what happens next. So what is this this situation that happened that's creating this this not so good situation at the end on the 29th?
So, we talked about Backwoods Brown and Hartenbauer. That's gonna be a blast to watch. It's gonna be physical, crazy. You got Rory Shield and Ray Larson, that Liberty Division match. That's gonna be good too. Shaq Jordan, Jake Parnell. That's a main event anywhere. That's a match of the year candidate already. And you have Josh Price defending the Frontline Pro Championship against Darren Corbin, who we haven't really seen in Frontline Pro, but there's a lot of history with Darren Corbin in Minnesota.
Red knows. Look at Red.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guy. I mean, we've got history, so
that's gonna be a good one, man. That's really gonna be a sneaky good one. But
you don't have a ride to Marshfield, Red. You just got to call me.
The match, though, that I want to talk about, because it kind of brings everything full circle and kind of ties everything together here. Oh, sorry. I can't skip this one. Jared Jack's taking on Joe Alonzo for the Bakerville Championship as well.
I reached out. I was advertising this match on Twitter, and I'm advising Joe Alonzo, who I know quite well, to, I know you love to collect title belts, Joe, and you've been NWA champion. You've gone here, there, and everywhere and won titles. But I have a feeling that the championship around Jared Jack's waist is going to have to be pried off his cold, dead hand. And I said, good luck with that. And, he had some comments for me on Twitter. He reposted it and all of those things. But Joe Alonzo is a different kind of cat.
Yep, that is for sure. That's going to be a good one. But okay, so without further ado, the one that I've been waiting for this whole time, Steve.
Of all bangers.
Avalon versus McCoy.
I had a feeling you were going to be talking about this, and I'm going to say this about that. I've obviously had my issues with Ben. Jet Avalon has plagued my existence over the last 5 years in various places. So you've got a man that detests the other man, and that is only eclipsed by the other man's detesting of the previous man. There's nothing but hate. There is nothing but animosity. And this is a powder keg that has been waiting to be lit for months, if not years. They have fought many times.
Definitely years. Definitely years.
I've heard Ben talk about the tales of how he kind of more or less owns Joey Avalon. I believe I've heard him in boastful terms say that, whether he's the creator or Bulletproof, he's got a good track record when it comes to Jet Avalon. But this is not Joey Jet Avalon from 2 years ago or 3 years ago. This guy is at another level now. This guy earned the respect of Ali. And it's not Ali from 10 years ago. It's Ali from right now. The best version of Ali. The best version of Avalon. The banger maker, as I like to call him these days. That's all he does. He's fighting Shaq Jordan, like I said, in Green Bay, and they're petitioning to make the stipulation of that match be whoever wins it gets to beat me with a crowbar. Now, I've never even been to Green Bay, so I don't know what these people in Green Bay are making me as special stipulations in matches, but they both love the idea. I don't love it. There. So what I'm saying is Avalon is at the pinnacle of his existence in this business. So maybe said for Ben McCoy, who is on the comeback trail, who has had to overcome everything and will not be denied. It's the irresistible force, the immovable object with gasoline poured on them next to a blowtorch.
I did save one thing for last, Steve. One detail for last.
Fantastic.
Not only is it going to be Avalon versus McCoy, it's going to be Avalon versus McCoy.
Sierra's the referee.
Unsanctioned.
Oh, no.
Wow.
And,
well, whose
and
idea was that? That's fucking ridiculous.
That was Ben.
People are going to get hurt.
Those two had some words that I don't want to repeat. I don't think you can even take back after that show was over. And Sierra walked out, had enough of all of it, and she just left. And Avalon and Sierra left different ways. So I don't know. This whole thing has created a rift between the two of them. I think she's tired of all of this, whatever it is between McCoy and Av, and it's just constantly going around, and it's all come to a head, and it's all happening on Saturday, March 29th, Bakerville, 7th anniversary show, Call to Arms.
And it's
wow, yeah.
I'm going to need to change my rider. I'm going to need my own personal locker room and security detail because I don't want any of that smoke.
Hazard pay for that night, man. That thing could go anywhere and everywhere. Avalon has made mention of it for years. There's a cornfield right next to Bakerville Bar, and he's got a shovel. So
I'm not sure I want to see a dead body. That
might be the only way that match ends, man. No rules, no nothing, can finish anywhere, anything goes. It's crazy. That's what you miss, Steve. It's been insane lately. I just so much.
Kris, I'm happy that you came on the show. I'm happy to talk to you. It's been too long, but I'm not so happy with all the things you told me.
Somebody had to be the bearer of bad news, Steve. Don't shoot the messenger, man. I gotta get you caught up, man.
Kris Lockman, you are one of the finest commentators working today. I am absolutely certain of that. And I appreciate you wanting to come on the show, taking time to come on the show, especially on a dual guest show. It's a little tricky sometimes. But you've certainly given us a lot to think about as we roll into the anniversary show coming up on the 29th.
That's how I was feeling after it too, Red. Just dizzy. Just so much, man. So much to take in all at once. But I got to say, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. I try to catch up with you guys, especially when you're talking about Frontline Pro. I got to see what you guys are saying and kind of see what the feeling is on your end though as well. And but yeah, it's definitely been far too long, man. We'll definitely do this again.
Get the band together just before Honor Bound. So I will try to pitch a date in the chat where we can get Thrill and we can get Annie and we can get you and everybody else involved in commentary. Maybe we'll even ask Ben to be a part of the panel since Honor Bound.
Is he gonna be alive? Shit.
I guess we'll find out. That's a valid question. Kris, thanks for your time tonight, my friend. I will very happily embrace you on the 29th. It's been too long. Thanks for taking time out tonight, my friend.
It really has. And just one last thing. Everybody go over there, check out Frontline Pro on Facebook. Go check out that YouTube page. Things are getting dropped over there all the time, and there is some amazing content, and it just keeps coming. So make sure to check back.
They still haven't put up my In Focus with Ben McCoy. I don't think they ever will, because
I don't know, man.
That got a little heat, didn't it?
A little bit.
I'm just going to say 2 words: pistol whip. And
that's all I was thinking.
We'll just leave it at that. Kris, thanks for taking time, man. We'll catch you on the flip side, okay?
Thank you, Kris.
Sounds good. Yep. Thank you, guys.
Be good, Kris. All right.
You too.
Kris Lockman, Frontline Pro commentator, Battle Brand, Baker Brand. All right, Red, it's 9 o'clock. We're going too long, but we got to hit up CSW, and we need our picks. So, did you see the promo today from your boy?
Nah, I didn't.
They are now the Made Men. The Godfather, Steve Boz. All Day, Marche Rocket and TJ Steele. And they have a mystical partner coming, I guess. So the Made Men are now my latest problem. I just finished dispatching the Hate Keepers. Or should I say Warhorse did that for me. But now I've got these Made Men. And they are so happy that they have fucked the system. So now I have to deal with them, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to deal with your boy. Got any advice?
I do, but, you make this bid, so,
All right, so this Friday night at Franklin Park, it is our St. Patrick's show, per se. It's Figure 4 Leaf Clover. And we have got many matches on this card. So this is where we preview them, and this is where we make our picks. Let's start off with a one-on-one women's match. A very interesting dynamic here. Lily La Pescadita Ruiz, as seen on NWA, taking on Shazza McKenzie, former Hate Keeper. She's been everywhere. Dreamwave, OVW. I mean, her list of accolades is a mile long. So these two are locking up. Who do you like in this match?
Lily.
I don't know, man. Shaz is tough. I love Lily, but
I'm not saying because I know her resume. Excuse me. But think about it. She's a little bit shaken. The Hate Keepers are so where she had that safety and that security before, she doesn't have that. So now she steps in the ring again. Lily is one tough cook. And I
Levi
think,
would say, one tough mamacita.
Well, I don't know how you do it. Anyway, but I'm going to stick with Lily because I think your girl is shaking. And she's going to go out there with a false sense of security, like they've got my back, and then realize nobody's got your back.
I think Shazza has got something to prove to herself. I think she needs to remember who the fuck she is, and I think she will. And plus, I think Iniestra is going to be lurking about. And Iniestra and Lily, that's a whole other kettle of fish. And, we like to use that S word, shenanigans. Watch out for shenanigans in that match. Axel Rico taking on FXB. We had the match last month where Drew Montgomery threw in the towel, much like Rocky didn't do for Apollo in Rocky 4, because he didn't want Axel to die. So he gave up Axel, and Axel's not happy about it. So that tag team is a little bit of love on the rocks.
Right.
FX is liked by no one. So I've got Axel with a bit of an attitude, and Axel with a bit of an attitude turns into Axel, kind of a dark, sinister Axel. We've seen it a few times before in a few places. When he goes dark, he's a scary, scary dude. And as monstrous as FXB is, Axel Rico, when he's been wronged, you got to watch out. So I'm going with Axel in this one. He is starting to metamorphosize into something else. And I don't think Doom and him are along as a tag team, but I think Axel beats FXB. What do you say?
I got Axel.
Then we have that match I was telling you about. We have got a tag team of former Hate Keepers, Jay Marston, Solomon Tupu. They are tagging up with Missa Kate to take on the Made Men. It's going to be Boz. It's going to be Marche. And then there's a black silhouette that there's going to be a third man. Well, we already know the third man is TJ Steele, but maybe he's not fighting. You know, I don't know. TJ Steele, I guess somehow he's got a new contract with CSW. Someone nepotism the shit out of it, shall we say. And, you know, his name, Boz, will withhold it from mention. But I don't know who the third man is. I'm not sure I want to know. Or who's the third woman? I don't know. That's fucked up. So I don't have a pick there because I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Maybe Mr. Kate gets kidnapped. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen, man. That's some shit.
The Made Man.
Oh, shut up with your Made Men, you apple polisher. You Windy City guys, they're all the same. You pick your own and that's it. But that's neither here nor there. Here is my match of the night, potentially. Commissar Warhorse taking on Mighty Maggie Lee. Damn. You've got two top shelf talents. We all know what Maggie's doing over at Dreamwave. We all know what Warhorse is doing every fucking where he goes. You know, 9 times out of 10, I pick Warhorse, but I don't know. I saw Maggie on Twitter saying, I'm ready to fight. I believe she is. I might pick Maggie.
I'm going to pick Maggie.
She's tough. And you know, Warhorse he's got family problems. He hasn't had a title shot. No, you know, there's a lot going on at CSW that Warhorse has to deal with. So I don't know if Commissar is going to be ready. I guess we'll find out. So that's another match. We both picked Maggie Lee. The Metro Division title on the line. And you've got the Diamond in the Rough, Quintero, who has been a fighting Metro Division champion, taking on the mythos of one half crab Hans Carden, the man that made Boz tap. I love the Diamond in the Rough, but Hans Carden. Is this the time that we have a title change? Can the half grab make the Diamond in the Rough submit? What say you, Red?
Yes.
So you're going with Hans Carden.
Yeah.
I love what Hans is doing. I love the momentum he's on, but you never pick against the guy that just can't seem to lose. So I'm taking Quintero.
Okay.
It'll be a hell of a match. That's for goddamn sure. There's no doubt about that. Moving on. As my phone gets jacked up. I love it. Trust technology. A tag. This is a fatal 4-way that you didn't know you needed until they mentioned it, and now you can't wait to see it. You've got former Hate Keeper Shane Boucher taking on the returning Iniestra to in-ring performance.
Okay.
On the mighty Gringo Loco.
Ooh.
Taking on the always game, ever-present Hornswoggle. That's your fatal 4-way, Red. Where are you going on this match?
I can't pick because it's like right when you met Quintero, like, yeah, okay, the Gringo, good, then Hornswoggle, and I know people were like, oh, well, Hornswoggle will never win, but he's already got a victory in Chicago style. So
yeah,
I don't know. I can't pick. I cannot pick.
Iniestra back for the first time since his injury in December. He has busted his ass to get back in that ring, and this is a great match to start with. I would have to believe he's got a lot to prove in this match. Shane Boucher, The Hatekeepers are dead. He's on his own now. Hornswoggle, small in size, but over the top personality, and he is a big player in this game. And then you've got the Chicago Icon, the one and only Gringo Loco. I lean toward Gringo, but in a match like this, anything can happen. So I guess we'll see. One of the matches that I am very excited about is the women's championship match. Amina Belmont has been talking shit ever since she won that title. I have thrown things at her that I never thought she would get through. But this time, she is fighting one of the best kept secrets in the business right now in J-Rod. J-Rod making her CSW debut. Have you seen J-Rod fight?
No.
Damn. New champ. I'm finally going to get rid of the crying princess.
Nope, you won't.
J-Rod wins that match. Wins the championship. And we're glad to have her from OVW.
Nope, not going to happen.
You think Amina's going to beat J-Rod? On what planet?
Steve, trust me. I'm the one that told you when she was going to win and you didn't believe it. So, just say.
That's fair. That's fair. We've got a tag team match. We've got Eddie Grayson and Jack Valor, one of the most popular tag teams, taking on another young popular tag team in KJ Carter and Lizard Man. This is the youth. This is the future right here. These are the superstars that have transcended from the Futures Royal to main card status. And as much as I love Eddie and Jack, KJ and Lizard Man are impressive. So I can't pick them, Red. You're going to have to pick it for me.
Grayson and Carter. They're a more cohesive unit. So
it's going to be a hell of a match. It's going to be high flying as hell. Then there is I love the scramble matches, and we're bringing them back in 2025. Boy, have I got a Molotov cocktail of greatness in this thing. We have got Ryan Matthews back. We have got Doom Montgomery, who is going through axle withdrawals.
Oh, wow.
We have got Eric Schultz, the attorney, along with Jax Johnson. So we've got three former members of the brass. And then you throw in the monster that is Bruce Hamilton. And then you bring back a man you know well from a few weeks ago, the back-breaking artist, Jake Painter, returns to CSW.
Oh,
yeah. How's that for a six-man?
Damn, I just knew I had my pick, and there you go, fucking it up. So now I can't.
You'd like to pick Bruss, and that's the safe pick. But with I don't know, with
paint on it, you can't.
I don't know about that.
You can't. He flies fucking everywhere.
Yeah, he'll break your back. So who you picking?
I'm not picking. Thanks to you.
Bruss has got something to prove, and if he proves it on this night, then the title opportunities will be coming. So I will give the nod to Bruss slightly over Painter, but boy, I'm so happy he's back. We've got Adam Stallion and Cypher. They will be in action in unnamed ways as of yet. So we've got that going for us, which is lovely. What else do we have? There's another match. Did I miss something? Or did I get them all? I just want to make sure I got them all, because I always leave somebody out, and then I get that Aaron Stone hate. How dare you leave my match? I get it, from everybody. No, there's that one. Oh, yeah, hang on. Let's just do this. We'll get there. Maybe if I took off the glasses and I could see that, maybe that's the end. No, I think I got them all, Red.
Okay.
Well, that's Friday night in Franklin Park. As general managers and commentators go, it is a feast for the eyes and the ears. So come to Franklin Park. The front row is already sold out. Nothing I can do about that. But you can still get in the building to see some of the great action. See J-Rod. See Swoggle. There's a lot of reasons to come. Gringo Loco. You've got the Made Men. There's plenty of reasons to celebrate St. Patrick's Day CSW style. It's another shy style Friday night. Well, we've been on a long time, Red, but I think we did it. I think we've wrapped this package.
Yeah, I mean, we probably about average.
We're probably about average. We were a little late tonight. I want to thank J.R. Lindsey for coming on and embarrassing us and himself. I want to thank Kris Lockman for coming on and catching me up on all things Frontline. Next week on this show, we got an old friend joining us by her request.
Who
Would
the
you like to
hell?
know who it is?
Yeah, because you said her.
Yes. Doing a special one-on-one interview with us without her better half. It will be Angel joining the Power Hour next Tuesday.
What? Okay.
Got a lot to say, and who am I to not let Angel come on and speak her truth?
Yeah, but then you know who's gonna be in the background.
Well, let's just hope that doesn't happen. Let's hope he can control himself. But it
Yeah,
is
right.
it is the Tuesday before the anniversary show, so maybe, just maybe, the evil butthead will be a part of it. Thanks to everybody watching Power Hour tonight. Thanks for watching. For C-Red, I'm Steve. For Lux and Rion Skills, we will see you next week. We'll catch you on the flip side, and good night, y'all.